So let's do this. What if I asked you, because I was noticing the way the homework works that it can be a little tricky. Yeah, I could even throw up one of the practices in multiple choice. So I want to make sure you're feeling okay. So let's try that one. Let's get you feeling a little better maybe in these 10 minutes before we break, rather than start a new section. So minus 3 sine of 2 pi x plus 2 pi. Okay. How do you take that thing and begin to graph it? I mean, look at those 4 graphs. They're all sine graphs. How do you know which is which? Yeah, it's all about the period and the phase shift. Are you with me on that? So you want to have on your 3x5 card for next week's test, definitely, period. What's the period? 2 pi over b. We did it even today, right? 2 pi over b. So, I'm going to totally run out of room. So let me just go to a fresh screen and we'll come back to the multiple choice. Minus 3 sine, 2 pi x plus 2 pi. So y equals minus 3 sine, 2 pi x plus 2 pi. Did I get that right? 2 pi x plus 2 pi, right. You got to do, yeah, that's right. Okay, so this is number 7. So, so the period again is 2 pi over b. So you want to definitely have that. It'd be crazy not to have that in your 3x5 card unless you got it memorized. So anyway, this is the a. This is the b, which is the 2 pi, and the c, which is also 2 pi. Right, that's the a, b, and c, as I gave them to you for the formulas. 2 pi over b, so 2 pi over b, which is also 2 pi, so the period's 1. Good so far? Phase shift. Let's go to phase shift. Anybody remember the formula for phase shift? Negative c over b. Chanu has got it. All right, negative c over b. Right? Math Excel made it positive c over b because they set up the formula a little different. Hope you're not being confused by that. So I just want to let you know again. I'm using minus c over b. I think it's easier. I'm doing it because it's easier. So c is that. So minus 2 pi over b. B is also 2 pi. That's minus 1. It's kind of a weird one. Okay. Now, what does that mean about drawing the graph? So remember my suggestion. This is where I think you might have a little trouble because at this point on the graph maker, you would just enter period 1, phase shift, and boom, it would just pop it out. And so that might not be the same as identifying multiple choice. So I'm encouraging you to do it the way we did it in lecture. That is, I would just start drawing it now. I'd say, okay, I'm going to draw this thing. How am I going to draw this thing? Well, first, the phase shift is where you start, right? Are you aware of that? So I want to really make you clear on that. Phase shift, what is phase shift? Where you start. So that means, where does sine normally start? Well, 0, 0. That's normal sine. If there's no shifts or anything, sine just does that, right? Normally it starts at 0, ends at 2 pi, starts at 0, hits 0, goes up and hits 0, goes down and hits 0. That's normal sine, right? Ours is going to start at negative 1. So instead of starting at x 0, it's going to start back here at negative 1. Good so far? And what's the period? The period is how far one full cycle is. That's what period is. So it does one full cycle normally in 2 pi, right? That's the normal period of normal sine, 2 pi. Well, ours does, one cycle width, that's what period is 1. Width of 1. It's going to do a whole cycle in a width of 1. So if it starts at minus 1 and goes 1 to the right, it'll be at 0. And in that space, it'll do one whole cycle. It'll go up and down and back to 0. Now, one other change. It's not quite right yet, but that's almost right. Good so far? Do you see that? And then, of course, it'll repeat, left and right forever. But I just want to get one cycle right. Then I'll be able to tell which multiple choice answer is correct. You with me? Just get one cycle right. Then you'll be able to tell which answer is correct. So do you see why I knew it would do its whole thing by 0? Because its period, the width of its cycle is 1. So if you start at minus 1 and you add 1, you're at 0. Right? So you start here, you add the period. Yeah, so yeah, maybe that's a good way. Maybe that's a better way to write it. Let me write that way for you. Maybe it would be helpful, it just occurs to me, that you start at the phase shift, that has been said, and you end, where do you always end? The phase shift plus the period, huh? Yeah, is that more helpful? You start at the phase shift and you end at the phase shift plus 1 period, plus the period. So this is, minus 1 plus 1, 0, right? Because this is the phase shift and this is the period. All right, phase shift period. All right, so it's going to do its whole thing. What is sine's whole thing? Up 0, down 0. That's the whole thing for sine. Okay, now one other thing. What's that minus 3 in the front going to do? Flip it, right? Negative 3, multiply, so it's going to go down first, not up. And then we got it. It's going to go down first, then up. And of course, 3, negative 3, we know that. But down first, not up first. Not like the normal sign, which goes up first. This one will go down first because of that negative 3, vertical flip. There it is. Let's go back now and find which one has one full cycle between negative 1 and 0, down first, then up. Let's go back. So negative 1 to 0. I can't even tell these things. Right? Maybe I should make